get into real estate?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question, because I got into real estate um, a little bit differently than most people, I guess, because so I was straight out of high school when I first got into real estate. So a little bit about me. I'm 21 years old now. I've been in real estate but for just a little over 2 years now. And when I first started, I was straight out of high school. So when I was in high school, I was doing the doing the high school thing where you were supposed to go and get good grades, which I did.
What's the high school thing?
Yeah, get good
Studying and
grades.
getting good
Yeah,
grades.
right. Studying, getting good grades, applying for college in your senior year, right? And that's what I did. And I got into a pretty decent, college here in the States. But it never really just it never felt right for me, if that makes sense. So I knew deep down that was not something that I wanted to do at all. I didn't, always wanted to run my own business, and going to college just almost seemed like a big waste of time and money for me. So it was about July of that year when I graduated. I came across a family friend of ours who recommended that I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I cannot thank them. Yeah, and I cannot thank them enough for that
Well,
because
that's actually the first book that I read that made me want to become an entrepreneur. I read that back in high
really,
school as well.
yeah, well, yeah, I think that it's such a great book with such universal appeal because it breaks down how the world works economically in a very
In
simple terms,
very
right?
simple terms, yes, I agree. Like it's not the first book about personal finance or
Yeah,
finding financial freedom, but I think it's one of the first books really that's really simple, easy to get. Like as
yeah.
high schoolers, we were able to get it and understand it and change our mindset.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think I don't know if it was Robert Kiyosaki who came up with the term passive income, but I think that term changed my life because I've never heard of it before. And I always thought, the best thing was to just work for yourself, but I was still trading time for money. So that really changed my whole perspective on things. I was having like my own enlightenment moment for for about a week after reading that book. I was just like, whoa, what's going on here? But
That's really
it
great.
completely
Yeah.
shifted. Yeah, just completely shifted my reality, and I just made the decision. So it's crazy because I literally made the decision to not go to university 2 weeks before I was actually scheduled to fly out to. So it was an out of state college. It was 2 weeks before I was scheduled to fly out to that state, which is Illinois. And then
How
we
did your parents react though? Since like it
surprise.
sounded like everything was all set, like you were gonna go to college, and then 2 weeks before that, you changed your mind.
Right. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy because I mean, I've been, kind of having doubts throughout the entire process, right? But so they kind of knew already, but they were very supportive because at the time I said, hey, I can still hold the position, and if this doesn't work out in a year or two, I can always just reattend as somebody who's taken a couple of years off. So we always had that backup. For better or for worse, we had that backup as a net to catch me essentially to go back on. But they were very supportive. So like I said, I was 2 weeks out. We couldn't even return the plane tickets. They wouldn't even let us return the plane tickets, but you know, my parents were actually very supportive. They were completely on board with what I'm doing at the time, and even now as well. At this point. So, but yeah, no, it was 2 weeks out, and then I just said, hey, not gonna do it anymore. I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay home, and I'm gonna get into real estate because I thought it had the most potential for earning passive income, and it was just a very stable industry. And there's a lot of people in it that I can learn a lot from. So I that's why I decided to get my real estate license, was actually so that I can be able to offer some value to potential real estate investors who've been in the business for a long time, and then I can trade that as a way for me to actually learn from them. So that's how I got into real estate. The very long version of it, the long version of how I got into real estate. But that's basically what it is. It was me having an epiphany moment in the middle of my last summer as a high school student, and then just kind of taking the risk, taking the jump, and taking it all the way from there to where I am right now.